Thanks for watching SLC TV, Salt Lake City's Government Access Channel. Today I'm canoeing downstream past the newly completed Jordan River Parkway Trail and Bridge. This 45-mile continuous urban trail is now open to the public. For this week's episode of Capital City News, we get an update on the new SLC Airport Redevelopment Program. And our History Minute is about Star Wars in Salt Lake City. Let's get started with our legislative update and look back. At its November 14th meeting, the City Council discussed additional funding for Operation Rio Grande, growing SLC, the city's 5-year housing plan, and the Transit Master Plan. The Jordan River Parkway Trail and Bridge is now open for use. Salt Lake City's newest 1,200-foot overpass now connects 200 South to North Temple, creating a continuous 45-mile urban trail. Utah, Salt Lake, and Davis counties are all now linked by 100 miles of uninterrupted paved path, making this one of the longest of its kind in the United States.
This would not be possible today without the support of the people of Salt Lake County.
Get in touch with nature and experience the great outdoors today. BikeSLC.com. Recent polling data show 71% of Utahns believe climate change is real. 64% believe it is caused by human activity. Utah is warming at twice the rate of the global average. In response, 40 of Utah's leaders from across sectors signed the Path to Positive Utah Declaration to advance the conversation on climate change, its impacts, and solutions. Salt Lake City is leading the way on clean energy as the 16th city in the nation to commit to 100% renewable electricity. To learn more, visit slcgreen.com. Travel during the holidays can be stressful, especially when an airport is undergoing massive redevelopment. Nancy Volmer with the Salt Lake City Department of Airports is here to share some helpful tips on how to mitigate stress during peak time travel.
Exciting time here out at the Salt Lake City International Airport. This past summer we saw a lot of steel go up for the new SLC. We had 5,700 tons of steel that was erected this past summer, and that's about 70 tons of steel per day. And that steel was erected on what's going to be the South Concourse, so it's the west end of the South Concourse. That was completed last month, and now we're starting to erect the steel for the Central Terminal. People who come out to the airport probably up until this point really didn't see a lot taking place because so much infrastructure work was taking place. But now with the steel being erected, a lot of activity is happening, and there's also the parking garage is going up, and so drivers who go by the construction will see pillars, and that's to support the parking garage as well as a new elevated roadway. Your holiday is a very busy time here out at the airport, and there's a couple of changes that have taken place that are related to the construction that will impact our travelers. Mainly it's on the roadways. So one of the big changes that happened earlier in the summer was the move of the Parkway lot. And so that used to be located on the right side of the road as you were exiting the airport. It's now located on the left side of the road. So we're just asking drivers who haven't been out here recently to go to the left-hand side. They'll see signs directing them to the new park and wait lot. And soon we'll be opening up a convenience store in that same location. The other major change that's taken place on the Terminal Drive roadway leading into the airport is that the road is now a different configuration. It's basically been divided into two main thoroughfares. And so if you go to the left-hand lane, that will take you directly into the economy parking lot. And if you go to the right, that takes you to the parking garage, to the car rental return, as well as to the terminals. So that's a pretty major change, and that's going to be underway for the next 8 months. And the reason that we've done these road changes is because we needed to do some infrastructure work on what will become an elevated roadway for the new airport. And that's going to relieve a lot of the congestion that passengers currently see with the current airport. Well, next week, a lot of people are going to be packing their bags and heading off to see friends and family. And people tend to get a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous, make sure they want to make their flight on time. So a couple of tips that we have is that be prepared. And this starts at home. So what we ask is that when you're at home, check your airline's website just to make sure your flight is on time. You can also call the airline. And then we recommend that you download your boarding pass or upload it to your phone. That just will save some time when you get to the airport. And then we also recommend, if you're flying domestically, to arrive at the airport 2 hours prior to your boarding time. If you're taking a nonstop international flight, we recommend arriving 3 hours prior. Again, just to allow time to come and find parking, to check your bags, and then to go through the security screening line.
Next up is our History Minute.
In the days leading up to the release of the original Star Wars, movie theaters weren't quite sure they wanted to book the film. George Lucas had only directed 2 previous films, one a bomb and another only a small modest hit. Rumors had flown that Star Wars was going to be a flop. So 20th Century Fox told theaters that they had to show Star Wars if they wanted to show a film called The Other Side of Midnight, a prestige picture based on a popular book they were confident was going to light up the box office. On May 25, 1977, Star Wars opened on just over 30 screens in the entire world. One of those precious few theaters Star Wars opened at was the Center Theater right here in Salt Lake City. The film played for months and was shown in full 70mm. Star Wars naturally became a cultural phenomenon across the country. Fox had to switch their deal and insist that if theaters wanted to play Star Wars, then they had to play The Other Side of Midnight. The Center Theater had lengthy engagements of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi in 70mm as well, making that theater the destination for Star Wars fans over the course of the late 70s and early 80s. Sadly, the Center was torn down in 1989, 10 years before the next Star Wars film would hit the big screen.
Well, there you have it for another episode of Capital City News. Thanks for joining us. We hope you tune in next time to stay up to date on all the latest. For SLC TV, I'm Poonam Kumar, signing off from the beautiful Jordan River Trail.